one of the things that to bring some of this full circle, one of the things that has clearly happened is that the level of polarization in politics is leading to an enormous amount of anger, and that's leading to an enormous amount of reactivity. And I think that
it's so uncomfortable. It's so unpleasant.
It is.
It's unnecessary too.
And the level of just, I mean, I don't know, you have a huge following on Twitter, but you don't spend an awful lot of time on Twitter.
It's so dangerous. It's so scary for me to say anything because you just get crushed.
That's exactly right. It feels like there's just a swarm that just eats
it's
you immediately.
And I wrote that book on narcissism, the Mirror Effect. And I wanted to put an entire chapter, I actually wrote most of it, about other periods of history where narcissism had emerged so prominently. And every time I was looking at pre-revolutionary France, and I was looking at times like that, and when you see a lot of narcissism, a lot of childhood trauma, then a lot of narcissism, and again, that's because of our destroyed family, we have lots of traumatized kids, you see mobs develop.
So are you concerned that that's what's going to happen next?
It is. With social media is mob behavior. It's happening. Now, they don't have to go.
Do you think that breaks out anywhere further, or is that restrict itself to social media?
We've had a few little outbursts. I don't think you're going to. No, I don't think it's going to be big mobs. I feel like we're on the backside of some of it a little bit. In some, it doesn't feel like it's calming down.
Well, I think that one of the things that's happened is that the mob mentality has become so obviously tribal that people are now rebelling against the tribalism. It's become so extreme that there's this push against it. So I see that mostly in the reaction to identity politics. So I see that there are a lot of people right now where if you state a fact, people will immediately accuse you of being a sexist, racist, bigot, homophobe. If you say, for example, that the statistics that are usually cited about the wage gap are just plain wrong. Or if you suggest that there are biological differences between men and women, because there are biological differences between men and women, obviously, every doctor ever has to diagnose somebody. I mean,
why do we have gynecologists if there's no difference?
It's so absurd. I mean, I was hearing from a doctor friend of mine that there was a transgender person who came in and the hospital had been instructed that instead of that person writing down their biological sex on their form, they should instead write down their gender. They should write their perceived biological sex, their perceived gender. And so the person came in, and if they had not done, they were complaining of lower stomach pain. Well, I mean, you're going to get a wildly different diagnosis based on whether that is a man or a woman if it's lower stomach pain. And yet, if you say so much as that, there are a bunch of people who are willing to come down on you and just destroy you for that.
I don't understand why we can't say that there are populations that have been ill-served because of science or because of lack of sensitivity to certain things. And now let's talk about the science. And let's hope that, and let's state up front that we don't want that science to be used to marginalize or condemn or be used improperly to hurt other people. But let's just discuss the science. How else do we create equality unless we understand the differences? I mean, Lincoln said it. He goes, we're not equal in all respects. He said it in the Lincoln-Douglas debates. But it's about creating a level playing field, an environment where everybody has equal opportunity, equal probability of success. Maybe probability is not the right word.
At least a right to success. Everybody has an equal. There are no bars in the way. In other words,
I would say even if we can, if we know the differences and some people need a little help or something, we can talk about helping it if there's a biological difference that we can discuss or a scientific phenomenon that is relevant to helping one group out versus another, or keeping another group. Whatever it is, let's just discuss the science. Because if we can't discuss the science, we're not in reality anymore.